Rev up your engines!
Well, if you're into Toyotas, here's some possible future Toyota news. Things between now and 2024 that they're going to do. Well, it looks like they're going to make a new Sienna minivan, and it's going to be a crossover, and they're bringing back the Venza name, the Toyota Venza. People always ask me about Venzas, and I said, oh, they're good vehicles. They were just marketed wrong. Well, now they're using the name again to market Venza, only this time it's going to be a hybrid only, according to Toyota sources. And they're working on a new Toyota BRZ, which of course is really a Subaru. It's going to have a 255 horsepower turbocharged engine in it, more plush interior, and rear-wheel drive. And I said that the Camry is going to be totally redesigned by 2024 to keep up with the times. It's kind of a dated body, so they're going to be changing the body. And sooner, the fourth quarter of 2021, they said they're going to have a new Tundra hybrid. They're not going to have the V8 anymore. It's going to be a twin turbo V6 hybrid. And that Lexus, Toyota's fancy cars, are only going to have V8 engines in their $90,000 up cars. They're going back to the V6s and the other ones, which, as far as I'm concerned, that's a good move. Those 6s run forever. I always told people, you want to get a Lexus, get a 6. Don't get an 8. The 8 have more maintenance problems. They're bigger gas hogs. The 6s are perfectly fine. Well, I guess Toyota's thinking the way I'm thinking now. And they're only putting the V8s in the 90 grand up ones. And last but not least, they're going to be pushing their Toyota rear-wheel drive Mirai hydrogen fuel cell car. With technology the way that it's going, the fuel cell cars are proving that they work. The problem is, where's the hydrogen going to come from? But if they start making hydrogen cheaper using the sun's rays with some of these procedures they're working on, it could be a real revolutionary of electric cars, because hydrogen cars are electric cars. They just don't need those big, heavy, clunky batteries. Could be the future here. Turns out the doors on some of the Fords won't latch and could come open while you're driving. It affects Ford Fiesta, Fusion, Lincoln, MKZ, and even more, with 326,000 recalled. It's a 2014 to 15 Ford Fiesta, 2014 to 16 Ford Fusion, and 2014 to 16 Lincoln MKZ. And the doors could just fly open. We're driving down the road. Not a good thing. And for you people north of the border in Canada, Ford's recalling 54,000 Fusions, Mercury Lines, and Lincoln MKZs because a normally closed valve inside the hydraulic system for your brakes can stick open and can lead to longer time to stop because the brake pedal starts going to the floor and could result in a crash. This is a 2006 to 2010 models. I saw a flaw in that. They aren't making them like they used to, that's for sure. Braking system problems. Doors that might fly open while you're driving down the road. I wonder that they're not making any of these cars anymore. Fiestas, Fusion, they're not making any of those things anymore. People realized they couldn't build cars anymore and they're giving up. Going just to trucks. Well, here's a problem. For those few who own a Lamborghini Aventador SVJ, you might get trapped inside your vehicle because the inside door handles break and you can't get out. The outside door handles work, but not the inside ones. Those few of you who actually bought one of these things, something happens, say you get in a wreck and it rolls over, you may not be able to get out from the inside of your vehicle. You'd have to roll the window down, reach outside and grab it from the outside, and of course, hey, maybe the window won't work anymore, but all that money, they can't even make a door handle that works on the inside. Says something about Italian design, doesn't it? Realize this is just about the fastest car in the world going around these racetracks, set records for all kinds of stuff, but yet they can't even make a door handle that works from the inside. Just amazing. I think they're putting their technology in the wrong place there. Now, there's absolutely no warning that it's going to break. It's the interior door release. They got to replace the whole assembly. But you get no warning. Just all of a sudden, you go to pull it, and it won't open. You can't get out. Asian boy says, are battery lives shorter in hotter countries? All right, batteries don't like two things, really. They don't like really cold, and they don't like really hot. All things considered, you live in a hotter climate, but you don't have air conditioning. Let's say you don't have the money, you buy a car that doesn't have air conditioning on it. That battery will generally last longer than a car in a cold country, because cold weather really knocks the heck out of batteries. In the real world, where Scotty lives, well, at least most of the time, most places you live in a hot country, people all have air-conditioned cars. The air conditioning uses a lot of electricity, and that makes them wear out faster. So, from my experience, if you live in where I am, hot, humid Houston, Texas, I'm lucky if I get 3 years out of a battery here. Where, when I used to live up north, I often would get 5 or 6 years out of a battery up there. Sure, it's cold in the winter, but if you use the car every day, it does recharge the thing. You're not straining it by running all the fans and the air conditioning compressor all the time because it's cooler there. So, in the overall picture of things, hot weather generally does make the battery go out a little bit faster if you're running air conditioning all the time, which of course most people are going to be doing. Foo Fighter 10 says, what do you think of a Chevrolet Citation from 1980 to 85? Well, as they say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I think that was one of the ugliest cars ever made. But I had a customer, he had one, he loved it. He thought it was a great, beautiful car, you know? Well, to each his own. They were, back in 80, they were better made than Chevys are now. But, on the other hand, back in 80, that's when they were really starting up with these front-wheel drive things. And GM didn't know how to make front-wheel drive transmissions. A lot of the transmissions went out. The engines, if you got a 6-cylinder engines, they were pretty reliable engines, but the transmissions weren't that reliable, and just my own perspective on it, I thought they were really ugly looking cars. But then again, if you like it, hey, if you can find one that doesn't have 1 billion miles, or say you like the way they look and you want to have a project car, you can get them dirt cheap. Dread44 says, I got a Lexus ES330, just got a check engine light. I'm in Houston. What should I do? Well, heck, make an appointment with me. I still work on the things. Just to give you an idea what it means when your check engine light is on. Check engine light comes on, that means the computer has found a problem somewhere. But unfortunately, the codes that generally come out of there are PO codes like P0116. Those are relatively generic codes. They're called generic powertrain codes. There can often be dozens of causes of one particular code. So even though it's got an oxygen sensor code, doesn't mean it's a bad oxygen sensor. It could be a vacuum leak, could be a fuel injection leak, could be a bad catalytic, could be lots of things. It's a zillion things can happen. But you want to start by getting it scanned. There's AutoZones around you. They scan them for free. Get the code, email me the code. I can give you a generic idea, but they are generic codes. So there are common causes for some in some cars. But some cars, there could be a dozen different things for the same code. And you got to find a guy like me who knows how to figure it out without just guessing with parts. Well, we'll try this, we'll try that. No, you want to pinpoint it down. Ace1457 says, Scotty, I just bought a 1983 Mercedes 240D with a 4-speed manual transmission. What do you think? Well, back in the day, those were bulletproof vehicles. Those were the little 4-cylinder 2400cc engines. Now, they barely got out of their own way. I mean, at least it's a standard, so it's got more pickup. They are not race cars by any stretch of the imagination. But I had a customer, one that had 500,000 miles, was still going down the road. But, you know, you're talking about 1983, 37-year-old car. It's ancient. Let's hope you didn't pay much, because often when they're that old, you end up having to pull the engines and transmissions out, replacing all the seals because they all start leaking fluids. And the brake hoses rot. Everything starts to rot. And since that's an 83, you want to check the frame and everything good. A lot of the earlier Mercedes did have rust problems. And if it's got a rust problem, rust in a car is like cancer in a person. It's kind of the beginning of the end. And just like with people, the only way you can fix rust is by cutting it out. Well, let's say the whole frame's rotten. You can't cut it out. You have to replace the frame, and that's more money than the car's worth. But if it's not rusted and it still runs, if you didn't pay much, it can be a good knockaround car. Martian 304 says, got an 09 Dodge Ram V6 all-wheel drive. My gear shifter sticking park. It comes and it goes. I check the fuses, the switch on the brake, everything. It's all working. Help, make sure you check the wiring too. If you step on the brake light comes on, that's working. And then check the wire that goes there all the way to your shifter that takes the shifter out of its locking pin so that you can get it in gear. Now, if that all checks, and let's say put power and ground to that little motor that makes the pin go in and out so you can shift it, and then the motor does work. That's how you got a bad main computer, the PCM, the Powertrain Control Module. Did one a few months ago that was the same thing. I tried everything, and then I went to the computer, and I saw that when I would step on it and turn the key and try to get it in drive, it wasn't sending the signal. And it needed a new main computer, which cost a small fortune. So what I did for my customer, I said, heck, it's just a stupid stepper motor. So I put a little toggle switch on the dash. And when he wants to put it in gear, he just hits the toggle switch and then puts it in gear and lets go of the toggle switch. And if it's your own vehicle and you don't care, you could just take that stupid little motor that's got the pin that locks it and drive it out. Then you can put it in gear anytime you want. And just remember, if you have it in drive and you turn the key, it'll start in drive too. I mean, you can bypass the whole system. It's really not that big of a deal to bypass the whole system if you don't care. But if you want to keep the safety Heck, you put a toggle switch, then run power to it and use the toggle switch to make it go in gear when you want if you're safety oriented. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.